Okay, so this video is going to help you to make my Tikka Masala Butter Chicken. So it's an Indian dish, and you're going to need a certain few items. You're going to need two jars. One jar of butter chicken by this company, KFI. One jar of Tikka Masala, okay? At least 1 can of coconut milk. I also get some creamed coconut milk. Now you're not going to use the whole entire container. You're just going to use like 1/4 of it, okay? Then you also need some minced garlic in order to flavor it. Chicken, if you can get as close to 3 pounds, that's great. So there's 3 pounds of chicken in here. It could be thighs or breast cut up into strips or nuggets, whatever you prefer. Then you're also going to need like a whole onion. It could be medium to large. Some bell peppers. My preference is yellow, orange, and red. Okay. Of course, you're going to need some olive oil to coat the frying pan. And I like to use a cast iron skillet. And for each fry. And then you're going to also need a bigger pot to put everything in once it cooks, to go ahead and simmer and finish cooking for a while. Okay. So let's start. Okay, so first I'm going to turn on the stove to like a medium high range, so right in the middle, so like a number 5. You can turn it down to 4 if, depending on your stove, how it heats up. And the first thing I like to do is I like to coat the pan with about almost 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm going to use this to go ahead and kind of saute the onions and the bell peppers first. I like to do my vegetables first. So we're going to do that first. So now that you have the oil in here, of course, move it around, try and coat the pan, get a good consistency. And now we're going to add in some minced garlic. Oh, that's heating up. Because I'm adding garlic and I want it to burn, I turned it down to like 3.5. Any higher than that and the garlic will start to burn. So I'm going to use like maybe 2 to 3 tablespoons of garlic because I got a lot of vegetables that I have to go ahead and saute. Okay. Okay. So it's still heating up. Okay. Okay, now that the garlic is starting to really cook, I'm just going to turn it down just a little bit more, down to 3, because I don't want my garlic to burn. I'm going to add in my onions and the rest of my vegetables, my bell pepper. Okay, now that we got everything in here, it's now cooking, starting to get soft. Stir it around a little bit. I didn't tell you, when I used the bell peppers, I used just either 3 or 4. And you can use it any combination, but as long as they're the colors, yellow, orange, and red, that's fine. So if you want to use 2 yellow, 2 red, or 1 of each and just pick an additional color, that's fine. I try to stay away from the green because sometimes it does have a little bit of a pungent, bitter aftertaste. So I stay away from that one. Okay. And of course, if you're noticing that it's starting to cook a little too slow for you, by all means, you can turn it up a little bit more. probably will turn this right back up to like a number 4, just a little bit. And I'm just going to let this continue to cook until it gets nice and soft. I normally don't add a whole lot of salt and pepper or other seasonings to this dish because the jar has enough seasoning to it. But if you want, you can add some salt and pepper to it. I like to add the smash seasoning myself. It has salt and pepper and some, I think, garlic powder and onion powder already in it. Where is it? And I like it. It's a pretty rounded seasoning. So I'll add, there we go, garlic and onion, salt and spices, and celery seed. So I can just add just a little bit to it. Just a couple sprinkles. And then stir that around a little bit. And let that continue to get soft. Now this dish is a real low-cost dish that you can actually make for under $20, and it could feed a whole family of 4 or more. 4 to 5 people, depending on your portion sizes. Okay, now that it's been about a little over 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes, the vegetables are soft. Not extremely soft, but softer. And the vegetables have cooked down the garlic, and so have the onion. Now, you only want to let it cook maximum maybe 12 minutes, because after that, you do have to let it simmer in a pot with the sauce for another 30, 40 minutes with the chicken, so everything can cook together. So now let's transfer this to our pot over here and start getting ready to cook the chicken. All right? Okay, now all the vegetables have been transferred to the pot. They're in here. And I'm not going to get rid of the remnants of the garlic and onions and oil that was in here. But instead, if anything, what I'm going to do is add some more olive oil. Because now we're getting ready to fry or saute our chicken tenders, okay? So let's get ready to do that. I still have it on the 3. You don't have to have it real high. So I only put half of in there. This looks about almost 2 pounds in here. So let's see how much is made up of that, okay? Now I will add some more garlic in here and a little bit of the smashed seasoning. So give me 1 second. Okay, I had to wash my hands. Okay, so here goes a little bit more garlic, not much. Alright. Now I'm just going to sprinkle just a smidge. And if you don't have this, you can use just regular salt and pepper on there, but not a whole lot. Okay, and now I am going to turn this up to like a number 4, since it's chicken. I let it cook a little longer. I think I will switch this out and instead use a metal spatula, only because it is chicken. Okay, so we're gonna let that cook a little bit, and then we're gonna start stirring it, turning it over, making sure to get all the sides evenly cooked. Okay. Okay, so the chicken is cooking nicely. I flipped it over a couple of times, and while I was letting it cook, I went ahead and opened my jars of my Tikka Masala and butter chicken and a can of the coconut milk. So while this is cooking, the chicken, I'm going to pour both jars, the Tikka Masala and the butter chicken into the pot with the cooked vegetables. Okay, so let me do that now. Now, if you still have some sauce left in here, you can scrape it up, or what I like to do is take some of the coconut milk, put it in the jar, and, you know, shake the jar up, and then put the rest of it in there, okay? And it sure as all of it's in there. All right. So now, let's pour the coconut milk that we just opened in here. Okay, so the chicken is just about ready to be put into the pot. What we're going to do right now is, this is the creamed coconut, and I like to add just a little bit of it. So I'm going to cut about this much of it out and put it into the pot with the sauce, okay? Okay, so there it is. There's my slice. A little bigger than I thought, but hey, it is what it is. Well, just dump that right on in there, huh? Just dump that right on in. And now we're also going to add in our chicken. Okay. Because it's pretty much cooked. So we don't want to have it overcooked. And once I get all the chicken in here, I'm going to transfer the pot with the sauce and the chicken and everything else to the burner that I'm currently working on right now. So right now, the sauce isn't even really hot. It's just the vegetables and the chicken, okay? Okay, we're almost there. Okay, almost through. And I'm actually, believe it or not, this right here, I'm actually going to dump this in there too. The water that came off of the chicken, I'm actually going to, that's stewing in, I'm actually going to pour that in there too. Okay. So I'll come right back after I do this. I need both hands. Okay, so now everything is in here. I still have it on at level 4, and I will leave it right there. Okay, and I'm going to stir it. Now, this is where I'm going to let everything kind of simmer in for the next 30 to 40 minutes, just so it can get a nice blend and that the seasoning and the sauce can mix in. And at the meantime, we've got some yellow rice cooking over here, all right? So you can do that while you're letting everything simmer. So if you want to put on a pot of rice, because you can put this over it, you can. So in the next 30, 40 minutes, I will come back and show you the finished continued dish. I almost forgot one last thing. Sometimes it doesn't have a nice balance of sweetness to it. So to balance it out, I always add in a little bit of raw cane sugar to it. About 1 tablespoon, 1 to 2 tablespoons of it in a sauce pot this big, okay? Any more, it will be too sweet. So I do add a little bit of raw cane sugar. You can add turbinado sugar or a more refined sugar, but I prefer to use cane sugar. So I'm going to add that in, then stir it. Okay, so you see, the sugar's already in here, and I'm just going to stir that in and let it continue to cook and simmer for another 30 to 40 minutes. Now, while you're cooking this, or letting your pot or your sauce with your meat and your vegetables in here kind of, I don't want to say simmer, but it's a little higher than just a normal simmer. If you find that it's boiling a little too high, make sure you turn it down. You don't want it to boil too high. So I did have to turn it down to like 2.5, because with my stove, the 4 was boiling a little too high. Okay, so we only got a few more minutes left, and then I'll come back after that and we'll finish this up. Okay, so everything is done, and this is what the finished product looks like. Very well cooked. Everything has been blended very well together, nice and hot. I've turned that stove off, and like I said, the rice is done. I like to have yellow rice with mine, but you don't have to. You can use white rice or whatever type of rice that you prefer. You normally, after cooking this, once everything is done, if you want, you can serve it with bread. I prefer Roti flatbread, or you can use naan, N-A-A-N bread. Either one of those, or you can just use some plain bread, whatever your preference is. But this is the finished dish. Try it. I hope you like it. And hey, let me know in the comments what you think. Bye.